Hello, fictional. Welcome to the Fiction Series X. Today we are gonna see, what if Issei was the red and white dragon overlord and got harem? If you end up liking this video, please consider subscribe, so without further ado, let's get into the video. I regret nothing. Thoughts or talk via telepathy. Issei Universe number 2381. Location: Netherworld. The Netherworld is ruled by devils, with the most powerful one being the Overlord, and also known for being dark places where evil deeds such as murder, excessive violence, unwanted destruction, theft and other things that are considered crimes by humans are considered daily activities. Devils run amok throughout these worlds, basically doing as they please. But there's a certain devil is getting tired of this habit. His name was Issei, a humanoid devil, and he have no interest to become the strongest being, but his life was changed when he found the two mysterious jewels on his journey, and he got curious because he felt that those jewels were alive or something, so he decided to grab the jewels and examine it. But suddenly the red jewel change it form into a spiky red gauntlet, while the white jewel change form into white dragon wings on his back or something, and then suddenly. Greetings my new host, my name is Drake. Drake greet him. He was surprised that the red gauntlet spoke, and at the same the white dragon wings on his back glowed also, and it speaks. Hello my new host, my name is Albion. Albion also greet him. Hello Drake, Albion, my name is Issei, a wandering devil. Issei greet them nervously. By that time he realized that the mysterious jewels he found was the boosted gear and divine dividing, and thus their wild adventure begins. After their first meeting, Issei decided what does their ability do, and Drake starts explaining what the boosted gear does do. Drake told him it has ability to doubles the wielder power in every 10 seconds, and it capable to transfer the boosted power to other people or objects, and also it can penetrate through defensive barriers. Then Albion starts explaining about the divine dividing. It has capable to user is given flight before he can continue his explanation about his other abilities. Meh, I don't need that kind of ability Albion, since I can use my devil wings to fly, you know. Issei said nonchalantly. I already told you Albion, everyone has that kind impression. Drake said. Drake is right Albion, it would be the best if you don't say about that part, Issei said. Albion ignored their comments and continues his explanation about his other abilities, and he says that it has an ability to divide the opponent's power every 10 seconds, and it adds the half power to the user, also it's capable having the size of objects and living beings, and lastly, it allows user redirect incoming attacks. That sounds awesome. Issei grins after Albion is finished explaining and somehow amused, then later on the dragons told him that they have 3 forms, which is the basic form. Balance breaker and lastly the juggernaut drive, and the dragons told him he can able to reach the balance breaker in no time, but the dragons warned him that don't use the juggernaut drive if he wants to live longer. After that Issei promised them that he won't use the juggernaut drive if only they are in life and death situation. But during his travels, Issei ended up fighting strong opponents every time he encountered them, and at the same time he cursed the dragons due their powers can attract strong enemies, yet at that time he can able to use the balance breaker after 2 years of adapting boosted gear and divine dividing, so he can defeat them without any issue. 125 years later, Issei's life went upside down after he faced and defeated the overlord of the netherworld he was temporarily staying at, and thus Issei's peaceful days were over after he receives the title of the overlord. Then a few days later the devils were coming at him in every 2 or 3 days to challenge him for the overlord title. 520 years later, Issei was surrounded by 5,000 devils from each side, and they were 10 times stronger than him, and Issei made a gamble. He decided to use the juggernaut drive in order to survive. Then the dragons warned him that he going to lose his sanity and his life in the process if he use it. If that happens Drake, Albion. Then Issei grins sadistically, so be it, but I will drag these bastards with me, as many as I can. But if I manage to survive and withstand the curse of the juggernaut drive, you two are going to be proud of me. And then he starts chanting of the juggernaut drive starting with Drake. Then 12 hours later on, he decided to swap to Albion's juggernaut drive to vanquish his enemies, and thus he repeating it until he managed to obliterate them all. After that battle Issei survived. At the same time he managed to withstand the curse of the juggernaut drive for a long period of time. The more surprising is he was switching it in the middle of the battle, and the dragons were very proud of him for being the first one who manages to withstand the curse of the juggernaut drive and use it for a long period of time on his first time. Yet the more surprising is he managed to stay sane on the juggernaut drive, but the planet was destroyed in the process. 3,500 years later. Issei is about to finish the last devil. Like always they challenge him to get the overlord title. Dragon shot. Issei fires a concentrated beam of energy, mixing his demonic and draconic energy toward to his enemy. The last devil was screaming in pain until it totally disintegrated. Then brown-haired devil looked at his surrounding and sense if any hostiles left, and he felt relief when he didn't sense any hostiles anymore. I guess this is the 34,453th times they tried to get the Overlord title. The devil sighed after he defeats the last group of devils who tried to steal his title as Overlord. Well, you can't blame them since your title attracts the other devils. Indeed, you bear the title, the red and white dragon Overlord is very intimidating. Honestly, Drake, I'm getting tired of this shit, Issei complained. Yes, we know that, partner. Aside from that, I'm curious why your second ability is Harem King. Drake wondered about that second title what Issei has. Yes, I have been wondering about that too. Albion wondered about it. Honestly, I have no idea about that since I never cared. Issei has wondered about that second ability too. You know, partner, you could be sworn by girls to get your genes right now, but it seems your Overlord title overlaps that second ability of yours. I kinda guessed that too, since there are no girls were attracted to him, which is very odd. Wait. Are you telling me that I become some sort of a chick magnet? Issei asks. Yes, kid, our draconic aura attracts opposite sex regardless of the race are they from, but why none of them are attracted to you? Damn it. Since you ain't look ugly. Albion was utterly frustrated because of his host didn't attract any opposite sex for a long time. Thanks for praising my looks, Albion. Issei knew Albion is trying to cheer him up. No problem, kid, since you're our host after all. Indeed, but right now, we starting to get worried about you. Why worry? Issei asked why the dragons are worried about him. Well, you haven't found a mate for a long time and we're worried that you will die a virgin if this continues. Indeed, this is a troublesome if you don't find a mate, partner. Issei sighed, yet he decided to ignore on what Albion said. Well, it can't be helped, Drake, Albion, if that is my destiny. Then so be it. You never cease to amaze us, partner. Indeed, you're the best. Issei smiled. Thanks, Drake. Albion, I really need that praising. Then he starts packing his belongings since on the current planet he was staying is not safe anymore. His thought said, man, I wish, if I ever die in this world, please let me have a peaceful life and a nice family in my next life. Until suddenly a new devil appears and his appearance was wearing a Shiba Inu mask and Issei was surprised on his sudden intrusion, then he immediately put himself into a battle stance. The masked devil is surprised on when he saw Issei. What the? Why is he here at Disgaea universe? As his thought said, he was curious and wanted to know why Issei is here at the Disgaea universe. Who are you? Are you challenging me for the Overlord title? Issei asks angrily at the masked devil after he summons boosted gear and divine dividing. He's an overlord on this universe. But how? There's no record on about Issei being an overlord on this universe. The masked devil said in thoughts. Speak now or else I make you. Issei said angrily. At ease, I'm not here to fight you, the masked devil said. And I have no certain interest of that title of yours, he added. Issei raised his eyebrow when the masked devil said he's not here to fight to him and have no interest taking his title, but Issei is no fool because the other devils used that plan to fool him and they failed to fool him. Oh really? But nice try, stranger. I heard that so many times since they tried to use that pattern to catch me off guard. TCK. This guy didn't believe me a single bit. Side I should try to convince him and transfer his soul back to the DXD verse where he belongs, but now let me try to negotiate him. If I fail on this, I will leave this universe and leave him alone, as the masked devil said in thoughts. Now Issei, don't so aggressive. The masked devil said coolly. Issei is stunned when the masked devil calls his name. What the? How did you know my name? Issei was glaring the old vampire. Simple, Issei, I met several of your counterparts from different universe, the masked devil said. Issei blinked. What? I said I met your counterparts from different universe, so please calm down, Issei. Issei calmed down a bit after he said that, yet he keeps his guards up. I'd speak now, because I get away from this place as soon as possible since they found my hideout, so I need another place to hide, Issei explains his situation. The masked devil was relaxed when Issei has decided to let him speak and his thought says, oh good, he's listening. Okay then, since you're in the hurry, Issei, I'm going make this short. You said you wanted a peaceful life from another universe, right? The masked devil said. While. Issei nods. Yeah, what about it? Well, his thought says, what the? How did he know that? Well, I can help you on that. Issei couldn't believe what the masked devil says. What really? He asks. Yes, Issei, you wanted a peaceful life and I will gladly help you. Issei is about to trust the masked devil, but he hesitated. What if the masked devil is trying to fool him and kill him? So he decided to play safe if the masked devil is telling the truth. Show me proof first before I believe you. Sure, why not? The masked devil summons a screen. Then Issei sees his counterpart fighting a blonde guy covers in flame and he was surprised that the scale mail on his counterpart was colored crimson, not red on the screen. I'm not done yet, Yakitori. His counterpart opens a panel of his scale mail and it appears to be a cannon on his chest. Boost. 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 boost, 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 boost. Issei realized what his counterpart is going to do. He's firing the Long-Ina Smasher. Eat this, his counterpart shouted. Long-Ina Smasher. His counterpart fires the Long-Ina Smasher when it's about to almost reach the target. And suddenly, the masked devil removes the screen. Hey. That was a beep move, man. Issei complains because he was disappointed. He wanted to see what happens next if that attack hits his enemy, yet on mine said that's enough proof since the masked devil is telling the truth. I believe that's enough proof, so Issei, do you believe me now? The masked devil said. Issei nods. Yeah, it seems my counterpart has a powerful armor similar to Drake Balance Breaker, yet still disappointed. The masked devil says actually Issei, that is Drake Juggernaut Drive in a better form. What? What? Issei and Drake is surprised on the masked devil said. You're telling me my counterpart is able to use the Juggernaut Drive in a better form? The masked devil nods yes. But how? Why is that armor is colored in crimson not red? Issei asks. Well, your counterpart managed to surpass the curse of the Juggernaut Drive and acquired a new form, and not only that, your counterpart can use of Albion's Juggernaut Drive too, and it's colored silver. Albion couldn't believe on the masked devil says. Then he asks. Really, does that mean our host is able to acquire those forms too? The masked devil nods yes, Albion, Issei can acquire that form too if he's able to surpass the curse of the Juggernaut Drive, since your counterpart manages to acquire them in a short time. Issei was surprised and he realized something on what the masked devil said. Wait, does that mean my counterpart has Dragon Albion? Yes, Issei, your counterpart is the red and white dragon emperor on that universe. I see, and it also close to my title, yet the difference is the last part being an overlord, Issei said. Indeed, so are you going to accept my offer? The masked devil asks. Issei nods. Yeah, you convince me. And he offers an handshake. The masked devil accepts the handshake. Very well, Issei, before we do something, would you like become a human, angel, devil or a hybrid on your next life? He asks. I leave that part to you, but first, how can you able to do that? Issei asks. Good thing you ask, Issei, you're powerful, but you might end up destroying the universe since most of your abilities are capable to destroy a planet. Do you have a solution on that? Issei asks. Yet. The masked devil nods. Yes, I have a solution on that, Issei, but in order to prevent that scenario, I decided to take your soul to modify your abilities. So I need to die in order to do that. Issei knew there's a price in order to go in another universe. Unfortunately, yes. I see. Issei understands the situation until he realized something on the last part he mentioned. Wait, did you just say you can modify my abilities? Yes, Issei, I can modify your powers to keep the planet intact, since on this universe can destroy planets like walking the park, the masked devil said. I see, so the world you will send me, they don't have the power to destroy a planet? Issei asks. Yes, Issei, they don't have that kind of power except for Great Red, yet that guy has no interest doing that, the masked devil said. Issei giving him a deadpan expression. Oh, you made him an exception because that Great Red guy have no interest destroying a planet? He asks. Yes, most of his counterpart likes to roaming and do silly things around the dimensional gap, so no one can disturb him. Oh? What is the dimensional gap? Issei asks again. Well, Issei, dimensional gap is a world of emptiness, in other words a void world, and they are located in the world of human world, heaven and the underworld. I see, does that mean he ruled that place? Since you describe it as a void world, that means he's the only one lives there, and if anyone tries to enter that place won't survive there without some sort of a protection. The masked devil nods. Yep, you're correct, Issei, you can't survive in the dimensional gap without a protection like magic. If you don't, you will die instantly due to the exposure of the nothingness within the gap. I see, but how he manages to live there? Issei asks again. The masked devil giving him a silent treatment. You can't be serious about that. I'm serious since I need to know about the universe I will be sent at. Point taken. As for that question, Great Red was originally born and lives there. I see, I think we're getting off topic, Issei said. The masked devil shooks. Not really, since you basically asking me why I made him for an exception. Yeah, I know, and you're telling me that I have a habit destroying planets when I'm on a rampage. Issei asks. You should already know my answer, Issei. The masked devil said coolly. Drake, Albion, do I really have a habit destroying a planet when I'm on a rampage? Issei asked the dragons. Unfortunately, you do have a habit of destroying a planet when you get serious, partner. Yeah, you did it many times, and today, you managed to keep this planet intact this time since we fought today, well ago was a weak group of devils. Well, I be damned. Issei muttered, but he remembers how many planets have been destroyed on his rampage against the devils who try to claim his overlord title. So Issei, do you want some abilities you need to get of? The masked devil asks. You can remove my abilities. Issei couldn't believe the masked devil can remove his abilities, which is absurd. Yes Issei, I can remove them, it's like in skill reset. Does that include my title? Issei asks. The masked devil nods. Yes Issei, I can remove that title. Issei couldn't believe it, the masked devil have an ability to remove a title, which is more absurd, but he really wanted to get rid of it for a long time, but it also gave him good memories of it. Since he made a few friends on his travel, and some of them offer him a place to live, but he refused it because he didn't want them to get troubled when the devils are aiming for his title every single day, and Issei made a decision he wouldn't regret. Alright, let's do this. Very well Issei, but before that, do you want Drake and Albion to come along with you? The masked devil asks. Drake, Albion, do you want to come with me? Issei asks. Yes, we will come with you partner, right Albion? Drake replied. Yes Drake, we will come with you kid, since we're a team. Albion said. Indeed, we're going to stick together to the end. Hell yeah. Issei smiled, the dragons decided to follow him. The dragons made their choice. Well it's good since you three didn't belong to this universe from the first place, the masked devil said. What do you mean we don't belong here? Issei was surprised on the masked devil said. Explain now. Albion asked angrily. Okay, let me tell you about your original origins. It all began. The masked devil starts explaining about their originals and their origins in DxD verse, including the sacred gear, but he didn't mention the names to avoid spoilers, he said. After that long explanation about their existence. Wow, that's a lot to take in, Issei said. Yeah, we could have thought that our original were rivals Albion. Yeah, and our originals were sealed in the sacred gear, but the more interesting about our host original is a pervert. Issei sighed. Yeah, my original is a pervert, but a brave one, and he got a harem. Indeed, if your original have a harem, that means you will have an harem there on the world you will be sent at. Drake said cheerfully. Yeah, you will able get a descendant while you're at it. But you two really wanted me have a harem and make kids that bad? Issei was totally astonished of the dragons' reactions. Yes. The dragons said in unison. Issei sighed. Anyway Drake, Albion, you two are my sacred gears along Inus type. Yes, we kinda figured that when you found us. Indeed, you're fated to meet us when you found us in jewel form. Yeah, I guess meeting you two is fate, and at the same time my peaceful days were over. Hey. Don't say we're some of a bad luck kid. Partner. The dragons retorted. The masked devil decided to butt in, and he asked, so Issei, which one do you want to remove? Well, obviously my Overlord title and all of my abilities from this universe except for Vulcan Blaze, Meteor Impact, and Zeta Beam, which is I copied from my former enemies, but now we're friends after I fought them in our first encounter. The masked devil was amused by the skills except I didn't expect you able to copy their signature moves, Issei. Is it that bad? Issei asks. The masked devil shooks. No Issei, I'm just surprised that you managed to copy their signature move instantly at your first encounter, but you haven't used it once, right? Issei nods. Yeah, I haven't used them yet. I see, since you want to remove all your abilities, which is very destructive and it's capable to destroying a planet with your eyes closed on this universe, I think modifying isn't needed anymore. Instead I will put a powerful seal on you, yet I don't know how many layers I can put it in your soul. The masked devil said. Why putting a seal on me? I thought you're going to modify my powers. Issei asks. Well Issei, in your current power, you're the second or third strongest being from the universe I will send you at, since you wanted a peaceful life, so my solution on the power issue is to seal your powers to avoid the stronger beings to detect you. I see, just do whatever you can, as long I can live peacefully. Issei understands what the masked devil says. Very well then, let's begin. The masked devil instantly grabs Issei's chest, then he pulls his soul out of his body. When his soul were out of Issei's physical body, it turns into ashes. Are you ready for the new life, Issei, Drake, Albion? The masked devil asks. Yeah. Issei's soul said. A new adventure await us. Yeah, and this time our host will have a peaceful life. The masked devil says, alright then, let's go. Then he summons a portal. When he enters the portal, then it closes, and thus the masked devil and Issei along with the dragons leaves the Dizgia universe, but Issei didn't know there's two devils are very loyal to him, since the two devils didn't reincarnate when the red moon appears. You will know them soon, and they are female ox. Between gaps of the other universes. Issei and the dragons were surprised when they saw many portals of the other universe. Is this a space between the gaps on the other universe? Issei asks. The masked devil nods. Yes, before we go to the DxD world, I need to something first, and you know that means. I know. Until Issei realized something. Wait. I just realized that I didn't ask your name yet, do you mind tell me? He asks. Sure, I thought you never asked. The masked devil removes his mask, and that made Issei, Drake and Albion were shocked when they saw his face. He looks completely like him. What the? Issei was about to say. Were you man, took you long enough before asking that? The unmasked devil smiled. Yes Issei, I'm you, yet different like the rest of our counterparts living on DxD verse you, but call me Decade okay? He added. Issei nods, then he asks Decade, are you really my counterpart? He want to make sure if he really is his counterpart. Yes Issei, I'm you since most of our counterparts has this wonderful brown eyes. Decade points at his eye. Then he points at his hair and this glorious spiky brown hair. Yet some of our counterparts has different features, but there are still high to Issei, even if they have different last name. He added. I see, is that going to be my name on the world you will send me at? Decade nods yes, since that's our real name regardless of the universe we came from. I see, since you're going to send me to that world, does my memory still intact if I reborn as a baby? Well, as for that memory, I will put a seal on it until you reach 5 years old and it will mix your childhood memories. I see, since you told me everything I need to know, so Decade let's do this. Alright then. Then Decade starts removing Issei's title and removing most of his skills, except on the 3 signature skills, and modified a bit from Dizgia universe, yet there's one ability he didn't remove, since he hasn't learned it from the Dizgia world, and he decided to peek on it, and he's glad that it's not a dangerous ability, so he decided to not removed it. Then he starts to put the seal on Issei's soul to suppress his power at the lowest, and he was surprised that it takes 20 layers to suppress his power. Alright, all done. Decade is finished putting the seals. Took you long enough, Issei's soul said. Decade sighed, it's not easy to put a seal you know. Oh by the way, if you're in a pinch, just say seal release and thus one of the seal will release and your powers will double from your suppressed state per seal. What if more I need to remove more than one seal? Just say the Roman numerals, for example 10th seal release, and you know how much it all add when the 10 seals are released, simple as that. Issei nods for understanding. Good, the next thing is to visit the DxD universe where Haidu Issei hasn't born. Then Decade summons a portal going to the DxD world, then he entered. DxD, world number 7839, note. Rias and Sona are already born on this timeline, while Issei was. Decade arrives on this world, then he summons the book and reads about the history of this world. On this world, where humans knew about supernatural and living with them peacefully before that happens, the 3 factions. Angels, devils, and fallen angels made a truce after the following the deaths of the biblical god and the Yondai Mao. Several years later in the underworld there's a group of the descendants of the original Yondai Mao, intended to carry on their legacy by gathering the strong supporters of the original Yondai Mao and finish what they started, the Great War, to realize the world domination ambition of the Yondai Mao. Their intention, however, was opposed by a certain group of devils, the anti-Satan faction, who wanted to ensure the survival of the devils as a species, thus disapproving of the continuation of the Great War. This dissension eventually caused a civil war to break out between the devils, and which ultimately led to the defeat of the original Satan's descendants. Following the defeat of the descendants, who were forced to retreat to the back part of the underworld, their names became titles for the new rulers of the devils, while the original Satans became known as the Old Satans. The current Satans are Serzich's Lucifer, of the Grimory clan, Serafall Leviathan, of the Citri clan, Ajuka Beelzebub, of the Astaroth clan, and Falbium Asmodeus, of the Glaciolabolas clan, 4 devils who were born with immense power, equivalent or superior to the original Yondai Mao, and were chosen for the Mao positions, despite not carrying the blood of the original Mao. After the Devil's Civil War, the new Yondai Mao decided to make a peace to the angel and fallen angels, which of the 2 factions agreed with it, then later on the other mythologies such as Norse, Yokai faction, vampires, etc. made an alliance and peace treaty, then later on the humans they are starting to know about supernaturals. Several years later the humans were coexisting together with the other races. Wow, this world is interesting. Decade was awed after reading the history file of this world. Yeah, the humans were living together with the other races, this universe is a paradise for me. Issei said. Decade nods at his Issei's opinion. Yeah, man, I wish that my world is like this. He sighed. Eh? Your world ain't like this, Decade? Issei asks. Decade says yeah, my world is like the rest when I told you about our original lives into. I see, I guess I'm lucky to live on this world then. Decade nods. Yeah, you're the second person who lives in this kind of world. I see, lucky for us then. Anyway, how are you going to find my parents, Decade? Issei asked. We're looking for them as we speak. Decade starts looking at Issei's parents via sensing their energy. A few hours later, Decade has looked everywhere around Kao to find Issei's parents, but no avail until. If our parents' counterpart ain't here at Kuo, I guess I should look in the underworld. Decade said. Why in the underworld, Decade? Issei asks. Well, that's the second place to look for. Decade said nonchalantly. Issei's soul is giving him a deadpan expression. You can't be serious. Decade gave him a serious look. I'm serious, Issei. Decade and Issei's soul were teleport to the underworld. Underworld? So this is the underworld? Issei asks. Yeah, yet it's different from my world. What's the difference in your world? Well, in this place has well developed than my world. Decade said. Decade starts searching of Issei's parents' energy in the underworld. Several minutes later. I found them. Decade said happily. Where? Issei asks. Decade points to the most southern part in the underworld. There are in the Citri territory. I guess your parents could be either one of them or both might be a reincarnated devil. Reincarnated devil? Care to explain that? Issei asks. Decade realized that he forgot to tell him the most important part of their universe. Oh, my Mau. I have completely forgotten about the most important part in our universe. Oh, does that apply the rest to our universe? Not really, Issei, since not all of them has a supernatural content in our universe. I see there are some normal ones. Decade nods yes. Anyway, I should start explaining about the evil piece and the brave saints. Remember this one, okay? Issei nods yes, since you said it's very important. Alright, let's begin to the evil piece. Decade explains everything about evil piece and the brave saints. 30 minutes later. Man, that's a lot to take in, Issei said after he listens everything on Decade said about the evil piece and the brave saints. Yeah, I know. Any more questions? Does the reincarnated angel can become a fallen angel? Issei asks. Yes, Issei, they can become a fallen angel when they have impure thoughts. I already told you about angels, right? Yep, yet I'm surprised that you able to hold that so much knowledge about our universe. Decade. I know, and it's not easy to hold this info about our universe, since I went into that too when I accepted my job as an OC Slayer, Decade said. Your job as an OC Slayer? Issei asked since he got curious about the Decade's job of being an OC Slayer. Decade nods yeah, my job is to eliminate the oddity catalyst, or OC for short. They cause phenomenon that diverse our universe, so in other words these OCs are replacing our counterparts' role on their world, and it's my role is to eliminate those bastards for overtaking our counterparts' role and disrupting our universe. Decade said. I see, so on this world has an OC. Decade shooks nope, the Guardians told me that they found no OC on this world yet since Issei Haidu wasn't born yet, but not anymore since you're going to live here. Yeah, anyway, the Guardians. Would you mind tell me that? Issei asks. Decade shook sorry Issei, that part is a classified information. Issei understands. I see, I won't ask about that, let's go find my parents. Decade. Decade says alright then, to the Citri's territory. He flies towards to the Citri's territory along with Issei's soul. At the Citri territory near Serafall Memorial Hospital. There's a couple were walking towards to the hospital. Seiji, are you sure that I'm going to have a baby? The woman asks. Seiji nods yes Isa, I'm sure of it, we're going to have a baby this time. Seiji Haidu, the last member of the Haidu clan who excels in phonic, strike, and arcane arts. Seiji excels at phonic art and a minor expertise on strike and arcane art, yet he didn't have an ability to use a mystic art, which is an ultimate attacks and spells, and it happens once every 70 years. The Haidu clan were almost wiped out due to unknown phenomenon, and Seiji is the last member of their clan and a fan of mecha anime, especially at Robo series. I hope you're right, Seiji. Isa smiled. Isa Mia, a reincarnated devil and serves under Serafall Leviathan. One of the Maus in the underworld is her knight. Isa's ability is Gradation Air, also known as projection. It's a magecraft that materialized objects, in accordance to the caster's imagination, through the use of magical energy. She's married with Seiji Haidu, and she hoped that she would bear his child and live peacefully. That's the Issei. Decade points at the couple from the distance. Those two are going to be your parents from this world, since you don't know about your parents in the Disgaea universe, right? He added. Yes, at least on this world I will have wonderful parents since they going to have me as their child, Issei said. I know Issei, before I send you, do you want to ask me something? Issei is thinking about what he wants to ask him. Yeah, I do. Would you mind put these dragons asleep when I got my memories back? Sure, but let me guess, you don't want them to see you as a baby. Decade wants to know the reason why he decided to put the dragons to sleep. That's the main reason, Decade. I don't want to see me as a baby, and I'm sure that these two will try to embarrass me like no tomorrow if they mention that, so please let these dragons to put to sleep, Issei said. Decade chuckled. On this matter will do, Issei. If I were in that position I would do the same thing. We are Issei High, do you know? Decade grins. Yeah, you got that right. Damn. He knew our plans. Albion. Drake is disappointed when Issei decided to put them into a deep slumber when he gets his memories back. Albion is also disappointed. Yeah, I was expecting we can use that as a teasing material, and it's a shame that he finds out that quick. Well, too bad for you, Drake. Albie and I knew you were planning about that. Decade watched them to bickering each other for the last time. A few minutes later. Decade saw the couple and they were about to go inside the hospital. Issei, it's time. Decade said. I know, alright, let's do this. Alright, memory seal. Decade cast a magic to seal Issei memories, then he shrunk the size of his soul into a small ball like a light baseball. Deep sleep lullaby. He cast a spell at the dragons inside Issei's soul into deep sleep state. Your memories will be back when you reach the age of 5 at midnight and the dragons will wake up too at the same time. Then he aimed to Isay's lower body right on target. Decade wanted to sure that he won't miss the target. Then Decade throws Issei's soul from the distance. Issei suddenly stopped moving when she felt something odd on her womb, then she suddenly smiled. What's wrong, Issei? Seiji asks. I just felt that our baby just kicked, Issei said. Seiji smiled. My instincts were right after all. Seiji, let's make sure if we really going to have a baby since it's been 3 months. I feel odd. Issei said. The couple enters the hospital. Alright, it's time to leave, but I wonder who will the main girl in his harem? Decade said. Then suddenly a new voice came out of nowhere. I would be glad if it's owner Sarah. Decade recognized the owner of the voice and he saw one of their counterpart wearing white pants and a red jacket and a Citri symbol at his back. How long you been there, Akashiro? Decade asked. The moment you came on here, Decade. Akashiro said. Oh, you're investigating this place again, Akashiro. Akashiro nods. Yeah, just to make there's no OC in this world. I see, so did you find anything odd in this world? Decade asks. Not really odd, yet I recently find that the next Red Dragon Emperor is a girl. Is she one an OC? Decade asks in a serious tone. Akashiro shooks. Nope, and I'm sure that our counterpart will like her. That tone, it feels like you know that person, and I'm guessing that girl is Yui Katagawa from To Love Ru Universe, one of your precious wives from your world, right? Decade teased. Yeah. Akashiro cheeks turns red when Decade said that. Decade chuckled. You know, Akashiro, I still wondering why are we ending up having a harem our universe? Akashiro shrugs. I don't know, Decade, since our original wanted to be a harem king, which is absurd to be reached by normal means, but he managed to made the impossible task. Decade smiled. Yeah, and it seems our fate to be the luckiest bastard in this universe, and those OCs were jealous about it. Akashiro says yeah, the OCs are still trying to entering our universe and silently kills our parents and steals our counterpart roles to do at their own sick desires, which I despise them, but after I found out that the OCs were responsible for destroying my world when tried to kill me, yet they realized that they can't beat me and they to unleash Trihixa as a last resort, which they succeed and killed everyone I cared. I know, Akashiro, but hey, I managed to rescue you on time by sending you to another world, which is now your current world. Yeah, I was really thankful for that. Decade, I thought I was going to die and saying last moments that was a silly experience, yet I was found and healed by Asia and the rest are history, Akashiro said. But I will never forgive those bastards. They are not only taking our counterpart roles, also corrupting our counterparts and turns them into psychopathic killers, he added. I know, and we end up killing one of our counterpart, like the Blood Dragon Emperor. He's shown no mercy to everyone, even they have nothing to do about his parents' murder. Because of that, OC manipulated him to blame the supernaturals on his world, and I still remember how he murdered Asia brutally. Decade said. Well, he gritted his teeth when he remembers his previous mission on the Blood Dragon Emperor world. Yeah, we ended up fighting and slay him when the OC totally controls his mind. I know. Decade sighed. You know what, Akashiro, let's go back to our respective world for a while. He decided to end this topic. I guess, you're right, Decade, we better forget this topic and go home for a while, since I'm sure that Sona and Sarah were looking for me right now. Akashiro agreed on his suggestion. Decade chuckled. Only them? Don't forget the rest of your harem, Akashiro. Thanks for reminding me, destroyer of the worlds, Issei Kadoya. Akashiro mocked him. Oh, shut up. Issei X Citri. Decade retorted. As several of bickerings later, Akashiro and Decade left and returned from their respective worlds. Back to Seiji and Issei. The couple was pleased when the doctor said they going to have a baby soon. After that, Seiji went to multiply baby items, yet he wondered if his child is a boy or a girl. Then they go back to the Citri's castle and they tell Serafall about the good news. Serafall congratulates them on the good news. Issei-chan, Seiji-kun. I'm so happy for you too. Serafall said happily. Thank you, Sarah-sama, I'm so happy that we will have our baby. Issei smiled. Yeah, it's been 2 years since we're married, Issei, and finally we're going to have a family, Seiji said. Seiji-kun, do you know the gender of your child? Serafall asks. Seiji shooks. Not yet, Leviathan-sama. Seiji-kun, I told you to call me Sarah-chan or Levi-tan. Serafall pouts. I can't do that, Leviathan-sama. I highly respect you, and I can't allow myself to call you in that. Seiji said. Well, you're no fun, Seiji-kun, no wonder Isa-chan has fallen for you. The couple were blushed after Serafall said that. 2 months later. The couple went into the hospital again for a checkup and an ultrasound. When they saw the ultrasound results, Seiji was extremely happy because the gender of their unborn child is a boy. Hell yeah. I will have a son to carry the Haidu bloodline. Seiji raised his clenched hand of excitement because their child is a boy. Now Seiji, since we know that our child's gender, but I wonder if our son will have my magecraft. Isa said. We don't know about that, Isa, only time can tell us, but I'm hoping that our son will have both of our abilities, and who knows, he might get something we failed to achieve. You mean, our son would have the special abilities we failed to reach? Isa asks. Seiji nods. Yeah, I believe that our son might have the most rarest magecraft, projection. Transversion, which is your great-grandfather was the first person who managed to achieve that ability and possibly my clan's strongest arts, the mystic art. You know, dear, it feels like you made our son overpowered if he possesses those abilities. Isa said worriedly. Seiji says yeah, but who knows, he might have them, and secretly wishing that he would have a sacred gear since he has the human blood on him. Isa gave him a deadpan expression. Seiji, you know I don't want our child some sort of a super soldier like you read on those manga, since I want him to have a normal life and have friends. Isa scolds her husband. Seiji frowns. Sorry Isa, I'm just thinking too much about the possible abilities of our child would have. After their little chat, they return to the Citri castle and tell Serafall about the gender of their child. Your child's gender is a boy, Isa-chan. Serafall asks. Isa nods. Yes, Sera-sama, our child is a boy. That means Sotan will have a playmate when they grow up. Serafall said happily. Isa is imagining her son is playing with Serafall's little sister. I wonder if those two become a couple in the future, Seiji said without thinking. Isa and Serafall was surprised on Seiji said. Seiji? Eh? What did I say something wrong, Isa? 4 months later. Serafall Memorial Hospital, outside emergency room. The doctor came out from the emergency room. Doc, how's my wife and my son? Seiji asks. The doctor pats Seiji's shoulder. Your wife has given birth and they are currently resting as we speak, and congratulations, you're a father now. The doctor said. Really, thanks, Doc, I really appreciate this news. Seiji said excitedly. Then suddenly Serafall appears, the doctor and Seiji suddenly kneeled and sang Leviathan-sama nervously, then she pats Seiji's shoulders. Seiji-kun, how's Isa-chan and the baby? Serafall asked worriedly. They're fine, Leviathan-sama. Isa and my son are okay now, they are currently resting right now. I see. Serafall took a glance on the doctor, then she said. Dr. Chan, would you please send my knight in the finest and comfiest room on this hospital please? She ordered in childish tone. Yes, Leviathan-sama. The doctor understood her orders and immediately leaves to send Serafall knight in the best room. Leviathan-sama, is that too much? A normal room would be fine for us. Seiji said. Serafall shooks and she says no. I want Isa-chan and the baby will have the best treatment on this hospital. End of story. Seiji sighed. Leviathan-sama, are you worried about her? Of course, I'm worried about her, Seiji-kun, since Isa-chan is my only servant after I released my queen from my service 2 centuries ago. Seiji smiled. I see, she will glad that for having a nice master like you, Leviathan-sama. Several minutes later. Seiji and Serafall went to Isa's room and they saw Isa is currently resting together with her son. Seiji-kun. What is it, Leviathan-sama? What's going to be your child's name? Serafall asks. Honestly, we haven't think about it, Leviathan-sama. Seiji and Serafall noticed that Isa is wake up. Isa-chan, you're awake? Isa weakly nods. Yes, Sera-sama. So Isa-chan, what are going to name him? Serafall points at her child. Issei, Isa said. You named your son by combining your names. Serafall giggled. Isa weakly nods. Yes. Issei means honest or sincere, I like that, Isa, Seiji said. From this fated day. Issei Haidu is born. Yet they didn't know, their son wields the 2 of mid-tier Longina sacred gears. Boosted gear and divine dividing. Which they came from another universe. On this world they have a new resident is living at their world. The former overlord of Disgaea universe. The red and white dragon overlord, Issei and his companions. Albion, a white dragon who resides in the divine dividing, and Drag, a red dragon who resides in the boosted gear. I regret nothing. Thoughts are talk via telepathy. After Issei is born as half human, half devil. His parents loved him, not only them, the Mau liked him, especially Serafall, and they felt that he could change the underworld. Yet his memories were temporarily sealed by Decade as he requested, and he personally requested to put the dragons to sleep due to unwanted circumstances like teasing. 4.5 years later. The Haidu family were in good terms with the Citri since Issei Haidu is Serafall only knight and Seiji Haidu from Haidu clan who specialize in art and the last art user of the current generation. The couple were treated nicely, especially the Gremory and Phoenix clan. At that time Ravel was born, since both clans want Seiji to become their servant, but he made a promise from his wife that he's going to be her servant when she's promoted to a high-class devil. On the future heiress, Sona Citri is treating him differently and their parents were clueless that she very affectionate to Issei. Well, Serafall is wondering why her little sister acts like that. I wonder if those two became a couple like Seiji-kun said, Serafall said while watching her little sister and Issei is playing tag. Meanwhile in DxD world number 3278. I forgot to remind you guys each world time runs differently. So this is 6 months after Issei meets Decade. One of Issei's counterpart codenamed Shuro reports that he sensed an OC is lurking in this world and he calls the others to find and eliminate the OC. Note: Shuro means Scarlet Vermilion. Hey Decade, are you sure about the report? Decade nods yes, Shuro sensed the OC's energy the moment he entered this world. I see, I guess we need to be careful then while searching, Akashiro said. Decade nods yeah, and I already told them to flare their energy when if they found the OC. Them? Akashiro asks. Decade nods yes, Shuro asked 4 of us including Shiro to come here. Is there something wrong, Akashiro? I guess should tell you this Decade since you're our leader. Shiro is mad at me. Decade gave a serious look at Akashiro. Why would Shiro is mad at you? Well, it happened from our previous mission. Decade remembers that they reported there's an OC in number 2429. Yeah, you two reported me that you two have found the OC in number 2429, so tell me everything what happened on that mission and that made him mad at you. Akashiro says I killed another Saji while we're in the operation. You killed Saji? Decade glared at him seriously. Akashiro, you killed another one. Yes, before you blow your anger on me, I have a reason why I did that. Fine, tell me everything. Decade asks angrily. When we found the OC in Kuo Academy, Akashiro said. You two found the OC in Kuo Academy? Akashiro nods yes, when we found the OC, Shiro made a plan, and his plans are to deal OC by himself, while I prevent the others to assist the OC. Then I went to Orc to put Riaz and the others put them asleep except for our counterpart, he's resting at his house in that time. After that I went to the student council to put Sona and the others to sleep, while I moved forward I saw Tsubaki, Momo, Ria, Yura and Ruruko in the hallway, and they're about to assist the OC. I presume Shiro has engaged a battle and they saw them fighting, then I used my sleeping spell put them asleep. After I done that. Flashback DxD world number 2429. Okay, time to put Saji and Sona asleep and I hope Shiro finished that OC quick before they noticed. Akashiro said in thoughts while he using cloaking exceed an ability to conceal himself completely cause unable to detect or smell their presence, even a devil or a dragon can't detect the user. When he's about to open the door, he suddenly heard a commotion inside the room. Don't kill him, Saji, I beg you. Akashiro silently opens the door and he's surprised at what he saw. What the hell? Why Saji is fighting my counterpart? Akashiro didn't expect what he sees right now. After I kill Haidu, your purity is mine, Kaichu. Saji grins sadistically and suddenly he found the Ascalon on the ground. Issei attempts to stop him using the Ascalon, but Saji managed to subdue him before he moves. Please Saji, don't kill him. Sona pleads. Saji glared at his king. Why I shouldn't kill him, Kaichu. This bastard has taken every girl I liked, aside from Fujimura, which I'm going to kill him next after I'm done with him. Issei was surprised by Saji's revelation. What? The reason you wanted to kill me because of that? He wanted to stand up, but he couldn't stand up due to the wounds he received from Saji. Yes, you took every girl I liked, and my hatred has reached my limit. You took Kaichu from me. Saji growled. Before Issei could say something. I Haidu. Saji charged towards it down to say. I will not allow that. Akashiro undo his cloaking exceed. What the hell? Another Saji couldn't complete his sentence because he coughed a lot of blood from mouth and then he realized that his body was sliced in half. Forgive me, Akashiro said in cold tone. You have forced me to do this, Saji, his thought said. Damn it. Saji's body hits the ground and it became ashes. End of flashback. And after that, you immediately altered their memories and put them asleep. Decade acts. Akashiro nods yes. After that Shiro was right behind me and he saw what I did to him. You explained to him what happened there and he didn't believe you, right? Decade said. Akashiro sighed. Yeah, he didn't believe me. Decade sighed. I see, I will talk to him since Shiro is new on this job, since this is the first time he saw you killed Saji in cold blood. Yeah, I'm glad that you and Shiro understand the situation I had, since you guys have given me bits of advice to suppress my hatred of Saji's counterpart. I know, but next time Akashiro, I remind you that not all of his counterpart is bad as you think. I know Decade, I will try to suppress my hatred next time if I see his counterpart. I will expecting that on your next mission or L. Decade was about to say something when he saw a person wearing an orange and black jacket, orange pants and a Konoha head protector appears. Decade and Akashiro recognized the energy, then put their self into a battle stance because the person who came to them is an OC. Well, this is surprising, you saved us a lot of time looking for you, Naruto. Decade summons his Dragon Rider belt. Yeah, you really did us a favor, prepare to die. Akashiro summons his Divine Dividing. The OC growled. Alright. Let's do this, Akashiro. Decade pull out the card on his jacket. Right. Akashiro said. Tension. Decade puts the card inside the belt, then closing the belt with a snap. Balance break. Dragon Ride D Decade. Vanishing Dragon. Scale Male. And their fight against the OC has begun. Let's go back in DxD world number 7839. 6 months later. Issei is sleeping peacefully, yet he didn't know that his memories are about to return. When the clock hits at 12 midnight. Issei receives a massive headache and it lasted for 3 minutes, he didn't wake up when he receives a headache. On that night Issei regains his memories and his dragons were awakened. At Issei's dreamscape. Geez, why he didn't tell me about this? Issei complains. You never ask him about the side effects, partner. Man, he should have given me warning about that. Well, it doesn't matter, my memories were back anyways. Issei sighed. Indeed, so how's your new memories, partner? Yeah, we want to know how's your life in this world. Issei looked at his memory lane and he saw that his parents loved him. It's wonderful, I'm going to like this world, like Decade said. But partner, you shouldn't let your guard down since your counterpart told us that the OC might appear in this world. I agree with Drake, kid, we should be careful on our surroundings. I know, I guess I'm going to start my training soon since my power goes down drastically even though my power is sealed in 20 layers. You're right, partner, I guess we're back to almost from the beginning, partner, since your current power right now is 3 times stronger than an ordinary human. If we remove the 20 seals in your body, I believe that your power is above your mother's master. And that's not a bad start, honestly I need to adapt on this world first before we go to intense training, but first priority I need to learn the gravity magic and I hope that this would have one. You don't have to worry about the gravity magic since before we went into slumber, I sent several gravity users in this world. Really? Well, then we're going to find them and possibly teach us or find a spellbook about gravity magic when I completely adapted to our new lifestyle. I see it settled, good luck, partner. We wish you good luck, kid. Issei smiled, thanks for the encouragement. Morning at Haidu residence. Issei wakes up and he went to the bathroom and take a bath, later on brushing his teeth. After that he went to the kitchen and he saw his mother is cooking their breakfast. Morning, mom. He greets his mother. Isa smiled, good morning, Ice, would you wake your father upstairs since I haven't done cooking our breakfast yet? Issei nods, yes mom. Then he went upstairs to wake up his father in their bedroom and he saw his father is still sleeping, then he approached closely to his father to wake him up. Dad, wake up, it's time for breakfast. He nudges his father to wake him up. Too lazy to stand, let me sleep more, Seiji said. Dad, if you don't wake up mother, we'll hit you with a frying pan. Seiji shivered when he imagines Isa is going to hit him with a frying pan. Geez, Ice, you really know how to wake me up, Seiji complained. Mom says that I used that phrase in order to wake you up, Issei smirked. After that, they went to the kitchen to eat their breakfast and they went to the amusement park. Issei is able to experience a wonderful life as a child which he never had on Netherworld. After that they went home and suddenly a magic circle appears and he recognizes the symbol of the Citri clan, the person who came to visit, and it was Serafall Leviathan, one of the current Mayu and Sona Citri, the next heiress of the Citri clan. Happy birthday, Ice-chan-kun. The sisters said. Issei suddenly hugs the Citri sisters, thanks, Sera-sama, Sona-sama. Seiji and Isa was surprised that Issei is suddenly hugged Serafall and Sona. Serafall and Sona didn't expect that Issei would hug them since they knew Issei hates being hugged unless it's her mother. Why everyone is surprised? Issei asks. I'm just surprised that you hugged them, Ice, Isa said. Yeah, I thought that you hate being hugged to anyone unless it's your mother, Seiji said. Issei realized that from his memories shows that he didn't like being hugged by anyone unless it's her mother. Well, let's just say I'm starting to get mature. Issei said nervously. That's a lame excuse, partner. Yeah, that's the lamest excuse you ever had. Oh, shut up you two, that's all I can think of. Issei retorted them in via telepathy. On that day his parents, including Serafall and Sona, were surprised by his sudden change of behavior. Starting from TV shows, Issei didn't like children's shows like Barney the Dinosaur, which Seiji and Isa were surprised on that, and the next thing Issei have sudden interest in mature animes, which involves violence and other genre like Code Geass. Lagan and some animes which sparks of his interest, and he got us several ideas of getting new abilities like Lancelot Albion Energy Wings, which is very close to Albion's Divine Dividing, and God Gundam God Finger plus Heat End, which caught Drake interest, and he wants to imitate that move badly. Well, no one thought about this before from what's seen from many fanfics of DxD. Then 3 months later Issei has a new hobby. He has a collection of Gundam figurines, Kamen Rider, Super Sentai, and other anime related items which sparks of his interest like an anime. That causes Isa and Seiji worried that Issei might become a hikikomori, but Issei told them he won't end up like that since he has a few friends in school and he frequently goes outside, and he promised that he will keep his hobby and his studies in balance even though he ain't a fan of studying. Then 3 months later Issei has started his intense training secretly, which locates far away from Kuo, and to make sure no one noticed him, he creates an isolation barrier thanks to the spell book he found at his father's bookshelf, which he found them useful since he asks Decade to remove all of his abilities except the 3 abilities he decided to keep it. Because of that request he will try to learn new ability on this world. 5 years later, Haidu residence. Living room, Issei is now 10 years old. Issei has completed his intense training for the past 4.5 years. Right now he wanted to see the results of his training. Thanks to gravity training it gave excellent results. He learned the gravity magic 3 years ago when he found the spell book from his father's bookshelf. Dad, Issei calls his father. Seiji look at his son. What is it, Issei? Where's mom? Issei asks. She's with Leviathan-sama. Where are they? Issei asks again. They are in the underground basement, Seiji said. What are they doing down there, Dad? Your mother trains down there, Issei, since she's Leviathan-sama's only knight and she needs to remain in good shape. So mom is sparring with Serafall? Issei asks. Seiji shooks. Nope, your mother trains alone and Leviathan-sama is just watching her since your mother is the strongest knight in the underworld ever since, and the only devil can handle her in terms of abilities is Akita Saoji, Lucifer-sama's only knight. Lucifer-sama's only knight? You mean he consumes 2 knight piece? Seiji nods. Yes, Issei, Akita-sen consumes 2 knight piece and both of them are mutation piece, and your mother has consumed 1 knight piece and it's a mutation piece. So mom has consumed only 1 mutated knight piece to be Serafall's servant. Yes, Issei, since mutation piece is more powerful than ordinary piece, and the reason why your mother is strong because she has more battle experience than him, in other words, she's bested him based on experience. I see, but I wonder, Dad, why don't you become Serafall's servant? Issei asks. I have my reasons, Issei. I promised to your mother that I will become her servant when she's promoted a high-class devil. Oh, anyway, Dad, can I become a high-class devil without the help of a high-class family? Seiji rubs his chin. Honestly, I don't know, Issei, you can ask Leviathan-sama about that. I see. Anyway, Dad, since you told me that mom is strong, I want to spar with her. I said excitedly. Seiji was surprised by his son's sudden request. Issei, you can't be serious. I'm serious, Dad, since I trained myself secretly, Issei said honestly. What? You trained secretly? When? Seiji asks. 4.5 years ago, Issei said calmly. Seiji figured it why his son always wanted to go outside alone, and now his son is telling him that he trained secretly. So that's the reason why you clothes tattered every time when you get home, because you've been training secretly. Issei nods. Yes, Dad. You're still surprising me, Issei, since your 5th birthday you have changed so much. What's your reason to become strong? Seiji said in serious tone. I need to be strong and protect the people I care. Issei said proudly. Nice motivation, kid. We never expect you will say that, partner. Honestly, I really wanted to say that since the reason why I left those 2 in Hades under Valvatore's care, since the sardine vampire will keep his promise no matter what it takes. I see, so that's the reason why you left them, but I've been wondering, what did you promise to that vampire anyway? Albion asks. I simply ask him to take care of Ryuko and Reina for me, since I can't bring them every time when we go hiding from those who wanted to take my title back then. No wonder that you've been nice to them since both of them are girls, even though they are a prinny. Well, I'm worried about their safety every time we go in different planets to hide against those who tried to steal my title back then. Since we were talking about those 2, I can't believe those 2 refused to reincarnate to have a new life when the red moon appears. Yeah, I still remember the drag. Those 2 wants to serve me forever, even though I refused their offer, they still ain't following me. Yes, those 2 were very stubborn to leave you, and it took you 50 years when you left them under the vampire's care. I know, speaking of those 2, I wonder those 2 is doing right now. I'm sure that those two are doing well, and I hope they understand why you left them there in Hades, since those two will insist to follow you wherever you go. Those two will be fine, they are strong enough to defend themselves since I trained them both. Seiji pats his head, it seems your mother's blood is getting into you, Issei, but I wonder since you've been training secretly, does that mean you able to use magic? Yes, I can yet in order to use my magic it requires chanting before I can use it, Issei said honestly, since he had no idea why his magic is required chanting, yet they are powerful when he finished chanting it. Seiji got curious about his magic requires chanting, what spells did you learn Ice? He asks. Let's see, I learned Thunder Blade, Prism Sword, Blessed Drop, Infernal Prison, Absolute, Ground Dasher, and the recent one is Meteor Storm. Seiji bulged his eyes out when he heard those spells. Issei, those spells you learned are no ordinary magic spells, those are fauna card. My magic spells is a fauna card. Seiji nods yes Issei, my clan is specialized on arts, and fauna card is one of it. Issei was surprised about the art since he didn't know about it. You mean fauna card is a part of a branch? Issei asks. Yes Issei, so do you know about the other arts? Issei nods yes, I want to know about it. He really want to know about arts. I didn't expect that my parents were this special, I need to know everything in this world. His thought said. Then Seiji tells Issei about the arts and its other branch. Several minutes later, Seiji finished telling about art including Mystic Art. Issei realized something when his father told him about Mystic Art. It seems those moves I learned during my intense training were called Mystic Art, which has surprised me since those moves are no ordinary attacks. His thought said. Before we go to your mother Issei, can I ask you something? Sure, what is it? Issei asks. Did you took my spellbooks on my bookshelf every time you went training? Issei weakly nods yes dad. I see, I guess you managed to learn from those books right? Yes dad, I learned a lot of it. Issei grinned. Seiji smiled I see, very well then let's go see your mother. After that, they went to the underground basement. Underground basement of Haidu residence. Isa is currently training on her sword skills while Serafall is watching her. Projection. Isa summons a sword out of thin air, then she charges the dummy. The dummy can withstand the power of Mau. Isa had nothing to worry about since her current strength hasn't reached that level yet, but Issei does if he removes 5 seals. Sword Rain Tiger. Isa attacks the dummy with a flurry of slashes and then slashes it upward into the air. She kicks it twice before slashing the enemy back to the ground. Then she follows up with Rending Havoc. Isa thrusts with her blade, then perform a flying kick and then finishes with an uppercut. That's enough Isa-chan. Serafall ordered her to stop. Isa drops her sword and it disappears before it reached the ground, then removes her sweat from her forehead. Good job Isa-chan, I'm surprised that you managed to learn several moves from those skill books, Serafall said. I feel the same Serafall until now it still surprised me, but honestly Seiji really wants to learn about a few things on that skill book, yet he decided to focus on phonic art which he's very good at. Isa sighed. Isa managed to learn several skills from Strike and Arcane Art skill books, but she's still incapable to learn the Mystic Art since she has no idea how to pull it. I guess learning the Mystic Art seems only runs to the Seiji's bloodline. Isa thought. Yeah, it's a shame that Seiji-kun decided to focus on phonic art, Serafall said. Isa and Serafall saw Seiji, and Issei waves at them. Well speaking of the devil. Serafall giggled. Oh, what brings you here Seiji, Ice? Isa asks. Issei wanted to say something Isa. Seiji look at Issei and he steps forward a bit. Mom, please spar with me. Isa and Serafall were surprised by Issei's sudden request. Seiji. Isa look at her husband. Don't look at me, Seiji said. Isa looks at her son Isa, are you serious? I'm serious. Isa sighed fine then, but I will give you a test first. A test? Issei exclaimed. Isa nods yes. Then she points at the dummy, see that dummy, I want you to hit it with all your might and don't worry about that dummy, it can withstand the power of a Mau. Issei is surprised that the dummy can withstand the power of the Mau. He points at the dummy seriously. That dummy able to withstand the power of a Mau? Please tell me that you're joking mom. Isa gave him a serious look. No, I'm not Issei, if you manage to reach high class level damage level I will consider it. Fine, then since all I need to hit that dummy at a high class level right? Issei asks. Yes Issei, just hit that dummy. Issei is cracking his knuckles. Alright let's do this. You can do it Ice-kun. Serafall cheered him. Alright I guess this distance is good enough, but first I need a weapon. A weapon? Isa exclaimed, I can help you that, so which weapon do you want to say? Issei looks at her mother and he shooks, no need for that mom, I can create on my own. Isa was surprised if her son says, you can create your own weapon. Issei nods yes, it took me 3 months when I started my training 4.5 years ago. Isa looks at her husband Seiji. Do you know about this? Just now, well I haven't recovered what he said earlier that he can use phonic art, Seiji said. Serafall is surprised Ice-kun can use phonic art now. On what level? She asks. High level Leviathan-sama, he learned Thunder Blade, Prism Sword, Blessed Drop, Infernal Prison, Absolute, Ground Dasher, and his most recent one is Meteor Storm. Isa and Serafall were shocked that those spells what Issei learned are no ordinary high-level phonic art. Our son was able to do that. Yes, since it's Issei there's no reason he would lie to us, Seiji said. You're right Seiji, there's no way that Issei would lie to us, Isa said calmly. I wonder if Ice-kun can pull a mystic art. Serafall wondered. I would be pleased if my son can pull that, yet I wanted to know if he can pull the trace version of projection, Seiji said. Issei walks towards to the dummy while concentrating to create a weapon. Trace on. Issei summons a sword, the sword appearance is Ashes, Maestro Sword. Isa was completely shocked that her son is able to use the projection trace version. I can't believe that my son has inherited my grandfather's ability. This is so surprising Isa. Our son is able to use it. Seiji said happily, and he's so proud of his son able to use those abilities that he and Isa they didn't. Ice-kun is capable use trace version of projection. That's awesome. Serafall said childishly. Issei holds his sword tightly. Alright, here I go. He charged towards to the dummy. When he reaches the right distance. He muttered first seal, second seal, third seal, release. When he said that his strength increased by 16 times, which is par on the weakest one of the Yondai Mau, honestly I didn't know which one is the weakest between Serafall and Falbium. Ha! He tosses the dummy in the air with a flurry of light rays. Seiji noticed that his attack are no ordinary and he felt that attack is special. You gotta be kidding me. Issei has achieved the mystic art. His thought says. Annihilation. Rending saber. Then Issei slams his sword into the ground, causing a phonic lift to appear beneath him and more energy to rise up and damage the dummy further. Isa, Seiji, and Serafall were surprised that the dummy was severely damaged, since only Mau class devil can harm that kind of damage. It seems Issei has nearly totaled the dummy. Seiji looked at the damaged dummy. This is unbelievable, he almost destroyed that dummy. Isa said. Wow. Ice-kun is capable to use mystic art, awesome. Serafall said childishly. So mom, did I pass? Issei scratched his left cheek. Issei, when did you learn that move? Seiji asked his son. You mean the mystic art? Which one? Issei exclaimed. Yes, that. Seiji paused for a moment. Wait, did you say which one? Issei nods yes, since I learned several moves from it and one of them is Rending Saber. Isa, Seiji, and Serafall fainted when they heard about Issei learned more than mystic art. I think you broke them, partner. Issei sighed. I shouldn't have done that. Well, it's not our fault that you're overpowered. Indeed, we're just lucky to have an overpowered host. Boy. I ain't that overpowered since we faced a lot stronger enemies in the previous world. Issei retorts. True, we face a lot of enemies were stronger than you and defeated, but they didn't force you to use the juggernaut drive. Well, that is true, I didn't use juggernaut drive when we fought them, since we managed to overcome them. Indeed, after you use it for the first time, no one has forced you to use the juggernaut drive for a long time, and I'm sure that your friends knew you have more tricks on your sleeve and they decided to stop fighting you, instead fighting you to the death. Even the so-called badass Overlord Zeta has recognized your strength. I'm glad that they didn't force me to use that since we met that brat Laherl and that battle maniac, Adele, that changed my view that not all devils are bad, yet I'm still surprised until now that the battle maniac didn't know that he's a devil. I can't believe how clueless he is. Issei sighed. Indeed, a devil hunts his own kind, what an irony. On that day his mother has found a worthy sparring partner, at the same time they found out her son is very strong and possibly stronger than her, and at the same time the underground basement became his new training ground since there's no point of hiding it, and they knew their son has been training himself by intense gravity training, yet he hopes that Serafall won't tell anyone about what he did. To the dummy, yet he still trains secretly since they didn't know about his sacred gears. While Isa is surprised that her son went through harsh training, then she tried it after 2 weeks of gravity training, and her strength and endurance has increased tremendously, and it became part of her training. 3 years later, Issei is now 13 years old. Issei graduated in elementary, then he had a visitor. Ice-kun, come with me in the underworld. Sona is trying to convince him to come with her in the underworld. Issei shook. Sorry Sona-sama, I can't do that, he said. But why, Ice-kun? I just really don't want to go there, Issei said. Sona sighed. Fine, I will respect your decision, Ice-kun. Sona knew she can't convince him to come in the underworld, yet she's able to convince Riaz to come with her, yet Riaz really wants to go in the human world, especially to Japan, and later she finds out Riaz is a Japanophile due to Akita Saoji, her brother's night influence. Thank you Sona-sama. Issei smiled. She can't stand it anymore the way he called her, she really wants Issei to call her in first name basis. Moo. I already told you Ice-kun to call me Sona instead. Sona said angrily. Issei sighed. I can't do that, Sona-sama, you know I highly respect you and your clan. Anyway, the reason why I don't want to go in the underworld because of the discrimination towards reincarnated devils and half-breeds. Sona knew about the discrimination in the underworld due to elders' influence. Even her sister couldn't handle them, and Issei has a point not to come with her. You have a point there, Ice-kun, but after you graduated middle school you will go with me in the underworld, either you like it or not. Sona gave him an ultimatum. Issei sighed. Okay fine, I will go with you to the underworld once I finish middle school. Sona smiled. Good, I am expecting you will keep your words after 3 years. Don't worry Sona-sama, I'm a person who keeps my words, Issei said. When Sona left, his thoughts say, did I just dig myself into my own grave? Then the next day Issei starts to train his magic manipulation that he can form a shape using his demonic energy. A few months later he created a new move and he called it Hadron Shot, which he inspires from the anime he watched. You know where I got this idea, as a replacement of Dragon Shot, which it requires boosted gear in order to use that move. Later on, he manages to improve the Hadron Shot and he called it Hadron Cannon, a charged attack which he inspires of Gremory Bale's power of destruction. 3 years later, Issei is now 16. Haidu residence. Issei has graduated in middle school, then someone knocks the door. When he opens the door. Hello Ice-kun, it's been a while the last time we saw each other. Said the black-haired girl styled in a short bob cut and violet eyes. Issei didn't recognize the unknown beauty, but when she calls him Ice-kun, and the only two persons who called him that, and that is Serafall and the other one is. It's been 3 years Sona-sama, I almost not recognize you since the last time we talked. Issei greeted her politely. Sona raised her eyebrow. What do you mean Ice-kun? She asks. To be honest with you Sona-sama, you look very beautiful, especially those purple eyes, which it's my favorite color. Issei cheeks turned red when he said that. Sona cheeks turned red. When did you become a sweet talker Ice-kun? She asks. I just only said my honest opinion about you Sona-sama. Partner, you should go out with her since you always think of her every time you start training. Boy. That's not true Drake. Liar. You should have to go out with her. Issei snorted them in thoughts. As if I can do that Drake, Albion, I never had experienced this kind of feelings before, so shut it. Ice-kun, after 3 years you still calling me that? I already told you to call me Sona instead. Sona sighed. Even though he praised her looks, yet she's still disappointed that he still calls her that. You know I can't do that and you know the reason, Issei said. I know you highly respect me and my clan anyway, you should already know why I'm here. Yeah, I will come with you in the underworld since I finished middle school. You don't have to worry too about that anymore Ice-kun. What do you mean Sona-sama? Well you see Ice-kun, I become one of the governors on this town. Issei was surprised. You a governor? When? He asks. Last year, after I graduated middle school in the underworld, when I accepted the job and moved here. Well this is surprising, since going to the underworld is a no-go, I guess you will enroll me where you study it, right? Issei said. He was totally glad that he won't go to the underworld anymore, since he doesn't want to deal with arrogant devils. Sona nods. Yes Ice-kun, you will come with me since you're a man who keeps your words. Yeah, I will keep that what I said. So which school are you study at? Issei asks. Guo Academy, Sona said. Issei was surprised when she said the name of the school he was going to. Guo Academy? Seriously Sona-sama? You know that school is a girls' academy and there's no way a guy like me would go there. Well not anymore Ice-kun, Cow Academy will become a co-ed on this semester. Issei was surprised that school will become a co-ed. The school is going to be a co-ed. Sona nods. Yes, and they will accept only 50 male students as a trial. I see, how are you going to get me in there since they only 50 boys will be accepted? Issei said. I don't have to worry about that Ice-kun since your academics is almost good as mine. Issei raised his eyebrow. You're assuming that I will pass and be one of the 50 male students will be selected. Sona nods. Yes Ice-kun, I'm sure of it. You really believe me that much? Yes Ice-kun, since you're my childhood friend aside from Riaz and Sakvara. Thanks for believing me Sona-sama. So are you going to pull a string to get me in there if I failed to pass the test? Issei asks. Sona glared at him. You failing? Ice-kun, we have known each other since childhood, there's no way for you will fail that test unless you do it on purpose. One-sama will be disappointed if you didn't attend in Kuo Academy. Issei was surprised. Sarah-sama will be disappointed if I didn't go to the academy. You can't serious about that Sona-sama. Sona gave him a serious look. I'm serious Ice-kun, One-sama wants you to enroll in Kuo Academy. Why she wants me to enroll there to that academy? His thought said. Issei suddenly remembers 6 years ago. Serafall was totally surprised of his strength after he pulled a Mysticard and used the trace version of projection, because to that she tried to turn him into a servant, but she failed after she tried every evil piece she had. I hope Decade visits me soon and I want to ask him if there's a way to become her servant. Issei thought said. I see, anyway Sona-sama, are those girls behind you as your peerage? Issei decided to change the topic. Sona nods yes, they are my servants. I guess that girl with the glasses behind you is your queen, right? Issei points at the girl with long straight black hair that extends all the way down to her knees, with split bangs, and wears blue semi-rimmed glasses with square lenses. Yes, she's my queen, how did you know? Sona asks. Well, she's the strongest among your servants next to the blue-haired girl, and I presume she's a rook. He points at the tall girl with blue shoulder-length hair and matching eyes. She has the basic appearance of a tomboy and has a Bishounen face. Damn. Why, her peerage is full of beauties. His thought said. Yes, I didn't expect you able to gauge them, Ice-kun, Sona said. Well, thanks to my intense training which improves my energy sensing, Issei said proudly. Sona was surprised you trained when? She asks. Issei scratches his left cheek about 10.5 years ago. Why you didn't tell me about this? Sona said angrily. You never asked, Issei said calmly. You could be had to ask Mom or Sarah-sama about that since I already told them about that, he added. Sona sighed. I see, I should have to ask One-sama about that since she visits here very often. Yeah, Sarah-sama tried to make me her servant 6 years ago, Issei said. One-sama wants you to be her what? Sona was surprised that her sister wants him to be her servant. Sarah-sama tries to turn me into a servant but it didn't work, it seems I'm too powerful to be her servant after she tried her queen piece then 2 rook piece and lastly her the 8 pawn piece on me. Sona was relieved that her sister failed to turn him into a servant yet disappointed that she can't turn him into a servant since her sister's evil piece didn't work on him since her evil pieces is special and they were superior to the regular evil piece. Then the blue-haired girl suddenly asked him, Haidu-san, what kind of training method did you use? Gravity training, Issei said calmly. Sona and her peerage was surprised his training method was a gravity training. Gravity training, how many times did you take? Sona asks. 50 times, Issei said. 50 times you able to withstand that pressure? Sona couldn't believe that Issei trains very intense. Yeah, 4 hours of 50 times gravity training really gives me a good result, Issei said calmly. Sona and her peerage were completely shocked that he trains 4 hours in a 50 times gravity training, and that is pretty intense since that kind of training is very brutal for a high-class devil. Adding sparring with Mom has given me more impressive results, Issei added. You spar with Anti-sa? Sona couldn't believe aside from 50 times gravity training he trains with his mother at the same time. Yep, Mom and I spar a lot and it always ended a tie since Mom has the upper hand for being a weapon specialist, Issei said honestly. I see, I didn't expect you able fight your mother toe-to-toe. Yeah, it's not easy to deal with yet I have learned a few tricks from her. I see, I guess Anti-sa's blood runs onto you. Sona smiled. Yeah, Dad said that too. Anyway, are you going to introduce your peerage to me? Sona nods Tsubaki. She calls her queen to step forward. Yes. The black-haired girl said, then she steps forward. My name is Tsubaki Shinra, Sona-sama's queen, pleased to meet you Haidu-kun. Issei smiled, nice to meet you too Tsubaki-san, but please call me Issei or Ice. As you wish Ice-kun. Tsubaki smiled. Then the blue-haired girl steps forward, my name is Yura Tsubasa, Sona-sama's rook, pleased to meet you Issei-kun. Nice to meet you too Yura-san, I noticed that you got curious about my training method. Yura nods yes, I want to try that gravity training if you don't mind. Issei smiled, sure, I don't mind since you're new to this, we will start at 2 times the next time you visit. Then the white-haired girl steps forward, my name is Momo Hanakai, Sona-sama's bishop, pleased to meet you Ice-kun. Nice to meet you too Momo-san. Issei smiled. Momo replied him with a smile. Then the reddish-brown-haired girl steps forward, my name is Tomo Meguri, Sona-sama's knight, pleased to meet you Issei-san. Pleased to meet you too Tomo-san. Then the long-haired brown-haired steps forward, my name is Ryakusaka, Sona-sama's bishop, pleased to meet you Issei-san. Pleased to meet you too Rya, and I hope you girls treat me well. Issei smiled. The girls giggled. We will Ice-kun, Momo said. Anyway, since you girls have introduced yourselves, I guess it's my turn to introduce. Issei said calmly, my name is Issei Haidu, nice to meet you, everyone. Meanwhile at DXD World number 6143, Decade's World. 2 days later after his mission in number 3278. The Doi residence. Decade is currently taking a break from their mission in number 3278 and gave Shiro a small talk on their previous mission in number 2429 and made him understands about Akashiro actions. Decade yawned, I'm so tired. I'm sure dealing the OCs doesn't make you tired that much Ice. True, but I haven't enough rest since I've been hunting the OC every day. Well, it's your fault, Ice. You've been focusing too much on hunting the OC after you eliminate them. You just keep going to hunt them instead of taking a break. Decade sighed. Yeah, I know, I've practically blamed myself on that. I believe you should take a break for 1 week before you go hunting again. Decade smiled. Sure, just for you, Sona. Sona smiled. Make sure you going to pamper me a lot, Ice. On Decade's world, Sona had a body figure of Ria's, and she has a long hair, also slightly taller than her original counterpart. While her best friend Ria's had the opposite, her body figure and her height is the same as her original counterparts. Decade snuggles her. As you wish, my dear. Sona giggled. I'm still wondering why you haven't told your counterparts that I'm your wife. Because I don't want let them know about it, since one of my counterparts is a total nut on your counterpart. Oh, you mean Akashiro? Sona asked. Decade nods. Yes, him. I swear the moment he sees you, his brain will go haywire. Is it because of my body? Decade frowned. Yeah, pretty much of that, and he will go hysterical and say, damn it, man. Why is my Sona doesn't have that glorious body? Honor to Kido. Something like that. She giggled. I see. By the way, Ice, have you visited your Overlord counterpart? Sona asked. Decade shooks. No, I haven't. Why do you ask? He asks. Well, have you ever thought if he wanted to be a servant by someone? You know, there's a chance he might ask that question. Now you mention it, I never did ask him if he wanted to be a servant. Decade realized that he hasn't asked about if Issei wanted to be a servant. I guess I should visit him soon after I'm done pampering you, my dear, he said while he snuggled Sona. Sona hugged him tightly. You should start pampering me now, Ice, before I change my mind. Say no more. Decade carried her to their room and begin their love session. And? So how was this story? I hope you like it. And if you like it, share this story with your friends and like the video too. And don't forget to subscribe our channel for daily awesome fanfiction. Okay, it's time for me to go. Bye bye.